大家好，新年快乐!
This Saturday, January 25th, is the first day of Lunar New Year for 2020.
The Lunar New Year begins at the first full moon of the year that falls between January 21st and February 20th.
This year is the year of the rat.
We're happy to be celebrating this event today with the other side of the world.
Countries that celebrate Lunar New Year include China, Korea, Vietnam, Tibet, Japan, Korea, Laos, Mongolia, and Singapore.
And let's start off by bringing you some history of Lunar New Year.
The Lunar New Year has typically been called the Chinese New Year. That's not wrong and it's not right. There's a whole nother group of Asian countries that also celebrate based on the lunar calendar. They're really warding off the evil spirits, which is the intention of the dance, to get rid of all the evil things that have happened in the year before and to welcome boldly the new year. They're not meant to be a lot of money. It sort of helps people say, you're part of my life. If you do present a red envelope, make sure you do it with two hands and that you use new bills because you don't want to put a ratty $5 bill in a red envelope. That would not be a good idea. Red is supposed to be prosperity, health. So if you ever went to a Chinese New Year dinner and you were wearing white or black, you should just go home and change. A lot of the celebratory components center around food, a lot of food. That's at the end of the celebration. It also closes off the Lunar New Year celebration. Understanding a little bit more of the sources of the rich culture that we have as a country, that's what really makes this country so incredible. It's a tradition that we get to celebrate here, even though most people who celebrate are halfway around the world. And to share it and share it boldly, I think is very, very special.
Today we have two guests with us who celebrate Lunar New Year.
They are Kelly and David. Welcome to the show.
So Kelly, you're Chinese and your parents are mixes of different backgrounds. Explain that to us and how it plays us into the celebration of Lunar New Year.
Yeah, so my mom is Hawaiian and Chinese, and my dad is just full-on Japanese. So when they got married, we started the tradition of Chinese New Year, and then I was adopted. So when I got into the family, we started doing Chinese New Year, and then it just all came together.
So David, you're Korean, yes?
Yes.
And Koreans normally celebrate Seonal, which is their version of the Lunar New Year. However, you celebrate Chinese New Year too. So can you explain that to us?
Okay, so when I was 6 years old, I was born in Florida, but then I moved to China, and that's how I got the tradition of celebrating Chinese New Year.
Let's see how some of our other Tetzlaff children celebrate Lunar New Year.
January 25th marks the first day of the new year on the Chinese calendar. The Lunar New Year is celebrated during the second new moon after the winter solstice, usually between January 21st and February 20th. Everyone celebrates holiday differently. Let's find out how some of our children celebrate. How does your family celebrate Lunar New Year?
So we usually go out to eat at a restaurant, and then we return home and we wish each other a happy Lunar New Year, and we give each other red envelopes with money in it.
How do you celebrate your Lunar New Year?
I eat and I get money.
How do you celebrate your Lunar New Year?
Well, I celebrate usually with the Chinese school that I attend, as I've been learning Mandarin. So because I have a connection with them and I have many friends that are Chinese or Taiwanese, I like to celebrate locally with them.
What traditions does your family have for Lunar New Year?
We usually eat dinner, and the kids, we would say something in Chinese to the parents and like grandparents, and they would give us money in red envelopes.
How do you celebrate your Lunar New Year?
I celebrate my Lunar New Year by going to parades.
How does your family celebrate Lunar New Year?
For Lunar New Year, I have to put on a Korean traditional dress called the hanbok, and there's like old people lining up, and we ask them for money. Like we say something in Korean, and I'm too lazy to remember, but we say it, and after we say it, they give us the red envelope, and in the red envelope is like money.
Everyone around the world celebrates their Lunar New Year differently, whether it's having a big dinner with their family or handing out red envelopes. This year's Lunar New Year is January 21st. It's the year of the rat. Happy Lunar New Year, Trojans!
So what types of foods do you eat at Lunar New Year celebrations?
Well, I usually eat dumplings, which are called jiaozi in China. They're also eat like fondue, and you stay up until midnight and then you eat them and celebrate with your family.
And then there's this thing called a mooncake, which symbolizes the moon and the Lunar New Year.
Why is everything during Chinese New Year red, and what does it symbolize?
Well, to China, red means good luck.
It
So,
also,
yeah.
it also means prosperity.
And so why do parents and grandparents give red envelopes to their children?
It's just for good luck for the new year and to help you prosper in the new year.
Got it.
How much money do you guys usually get?
I usually get like $50.
Anywhere from like 50 to 100 usually.
What types of festivities take place in the community to celebrate Chinese New Year?
Usually the moon festival happens where you celebrate the full moon with your family during Lunar New Year.
Yeah, there's fireworks and there's the dances like dragon dances and lion dances. And
And to add on to that, down in Westminster, there's a festival happening right now where they sell lots of cherry blossoms, lots of flowers. Do they do that in your festivals and festivities and all that stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah, like sell flowers. Okay. Yeah. So let's take a look at an inspirational story about a boy who has made a meaningful progress in his life despite his untraditional path.
See this guy? Yep, that was me. A true gaming geek. Unlike other geeks, I was very popular. I had many friends. Here are all 4 of them. We did many things together. And sometimes we got carried away. I knew one day I'd become a world champion. I stayed awake thinking about it, even when it was late at night. But somehow, I could still find the time to get enough sleep. Everything was going as planned until this happened.
仔啊，你唔好再咁落去啦，不如翻嚟幫阿爸手啦。
So, I tried my luck by saying,
俾啲時間我，如果到過年都實現唔到夢想，我就翻嚟幫阿爸。
and to my surprise, perhaps it didn't seem like it at that time, but I knew Ma and Pa had been quietly cheering me on since day one. And that was why I refused to let them down. Oh, the hard work paid off. I made it to the grand finals. I could tell Ma was really happy.
仔啊，我哋真係戥你開心，你可以實現夢想，係因為你一路都唔放棄。
As for Pa, a man who doesn't say much, he said a lot that night. Deep down, I know it was actually my parents' belief in me back then that made me the champion I am today.
That's all the time we have for today.
Thank you for joining us, Kelly and David.
Gong Shi Fa Kai. Chai.
King. Wait.